Alright, so we are going to be using a Canon T7 for filming in this class. This is what the camera looks like. A couple things that I want to share. Now, on the top, you're going to have this little dial, and it should just be placed on the video camera. That's how you take a video. On the side, also, you have your on and off button. So if I turn this on, you should start to see a screen appear if you have your video selected here. And to record, all you got to do is just press this little button, and it will show you that you're recording, one, by the little red light that's going there. There's also a light that beeps while this is going on. To stop your recording, you just press this again. And then if you wanted to watch your video or see what you made, you can click on this little square and triangle that's on the bottom of the camera here. So when I click on this, then I could see what I made there. If I press it again, it'll bring me back into the video screen, and then I could just press this again if I wanted to record again. When you are finished, you're going to turn off your camera first. It'll kind of give that beep, and then if you wanted to get your what you recorded, you're going to have to put this on a what's called an SD card. Now, to open this bottom, it's in the bottom here underneath the camera. If I pull this down, you'll notice that inside here we have the battery, which is released by pulling on this gray part. So if you need to recharge your battery, you can do that. And then above, if you just press down, it will pop out the SD card. Now the SD card looks like this. Okay, it's placed like this, so if you're looking at the screen, your card goes in this way. On the back there should be these golden little parts that are facing up. So just remember screen, you should see the label of the SD card, and then you're just going into the slot and push it in until it clicks. To get it out, you just push it and it'll pop out like this. Okay, so that's how to get that out. Once it's out, you can shut this down. We're going to put it into what's called an SD card reader. On the top here, you'll see that there's a big, long slot for the SD card to go in. You don't need to be really forceful with the push in, but once it's in there, you're going to plug it into your computer. You can use the USB if you have that, or the other plug-in for to get what you need off of that SD card. When you are done, you're just gonna pull this out and place this back into the bottom, just like we talked about with the label up. This is like the screen. Push that in, and then replace the camera into the back. Okay, so once you do plug in your SD card reader and your SD card on your desktop, so on this part of your computer, you should see something that looks like this. Now it could have a different name, but this is what you're looking for. And this is probably the thing that I get the most questions about is, how do I get my media off the SD card? What I do is I double click it open. Now it should open a couple of folders. The one that we are looking for is DCIM. DCIM is what we're looking for. We double click this open. Now this might change depending on which kind of SD card that you have. It could say Canon, it could say Nikon. Either one, you need to click on the latest number. Now this is important. So if this had a 101 folder, I would have to open that up. This one only has the 100, so that's the biggest one, the highest number. When I double click it open, it's going to show me everything that's on the card. It does help to erase your files in your card after you have saved it, so other people can quickly access what they have recorded. But it starts off with photos on the top, and then the further that you scroll down, now this card has a lot on it, the further that you scroll down, you'll start to see where MP4, those are videos. So anything that says MP4 will be a video, and usually the MP4 that you have, so the one that you have recorded, will come in at the end. So if you want to scroll all the way down through anything that's on your card, you're usually going to find your latest film on the bottom. Once you have this, you're going to want to select them. Now you can hold down Command to select multiple, so if I wanted all of these, I could then drag it out. Now, since we are going to want to save any video that we have, because we're going to be using CapCut, you would automatically place this into your CapCut file. So if I have those selected and I go into my drive, I open up my drive here, look for CapCut video, my folder here. If I have this open, then I will be able to come back in here. Whoops, I lost it, so you can hold Command down. If I wanted to keep these videos, I would then transfer them to my CapCut video. Now, videos take a lot longer for Google to upload, so be aware of that. But once you get the green check mark, like I did on this first video, and it will go through all of these, once I have my green check mark, then I know that I have saved that video and that I don't have to worry about what's on the card in that camera anymore. And this is why we are transferring our videos to our Google Drive, so we don't get any of our work erased. So please do that. And yeah, we're gonna give that a try today, so let's practice that. The thing that you need to remember is you need to keep the SD card in the slot of your computer, so it has time to download those videos. If you pull out the card before this is finished, it will not upload. So remember to keep the card in until you get all those green check marks. Okay, and then when you're done, or when you have that, you can exit out of the card. And the safest way to release this card, and something that I want you guys to do, is you take this card, right, so it's on here, and I drag it actually to the trash, which is the way you eject it. Now if I drag it to the trash, it should disappear, and now I'm safe to pull the SD card reader out of the computer. There are a couple different lenses that we use for these cameras. Mostly the 18 to 55 lens, which has a little bit of a zoom, is the one that works best. But if you don't have one of those, the other one that we have for this camera is the Canon 50mm. And I'm just going to show you how to take off a lens. On the side of the camera, there's this little trigger. If I pull this trigger and turn this counterclockwise, it will pull this out. Now, once that's out, you can switch. Depending on what's on the bottom, you'll notice that there's a little red dot, or on this one there is a white square. Also on the camera, if you notice up on here, there's a red dot and a white square. Now you're just going to want to take that dot and just line it up and then turn it clockwise until you hear a click, and that would be how you change a lens. With the lens that you are not using anymore, what I'd like you to do is make sure that you cap the bottom. So this is really important to keep the lenses clean. You don't also want to put your fingers on the top of the lens. It just makes it smeary and yucky, so you'd have to kind of wipe that off to have a good shot for your camera. When you are filming your camera, you should have one hand over here and the other one underneath where you hold it. While you're shooting, you can maneuver like this to get the shot that you need. Please do not run with these cameras. If I see you running or kind of messing around with the cameras in a dangerous way, I will have you off the cameras. Please do respect these cameras. They do cost about $500. So we need to keep them safe. And yep, just hold underneath here. It also allows you to do that zoom if you wanted to. So just holding with one hand underneath the lens, this is how you would gather your film. All right. So if you ever need to charge your battery, you're going to find these little boxes. These little battery boxes, sorry, I'm trying to get this in focus, in the cabinet right underneath where the cameras are. Once you have your battery out, right here, there's a little arrow, I don't know if you guys can see it, that's just right on here, and there's also an arrow on the battery that's indicating which way the battery will go in. You just kind of slide it in. Once it's in there, then on the back side, there'll be this little plug that you can pull down and plug it into a port, a plug port. It'll tell you when it's full with a green light, but if you ever run out of batteries or you notice that your batteries are low, you're just going to want to do that. All right, so this is how I like to see our shelf when the day is done. We have lenses that are up here that are not being used. And then we have our cameras down here, which are lined up with the front facing this way. And then also on the bottom here, we have our battery chargers here. And this is how I need the cabinet to look after every class period when it's over. When I tell you guys to put your cameras away, this is what I need. This is kind of off here, but this is the way it should look when the day is done. Make sure that your cameras are off before you place them back in, and that your lens are capped, and yeah, that's the way it should look.